To my future wife Grace, Part 8. Shy or Artistic? An Open Letter. February 22nd, 2024, 11:52 a.m. Dear Grace, I'm shy, or I was shy, or I don't feel shy now, but I may again in the future. Or maybe I'm lazy. It seems like these letters would eventually provide any possible future partner with every detail about my past and current life, saving me several embarrassing conversations. Does that make me shy or logical, Grace? I'm writing from home, my room today. I meant to post this photo of what I call keto pizza in the last letter, but forgot. Hot dogs, pizza sauce, cheese, hot sauce. February 23rd, 2024, noon. Dear Grace, I didn't post yesterday. Rob held a 6-hour AMA and I listened to the whole show. Most of the content was a repeat of past live shows, but the good news is everyone in the chat finally convinced him to start a Gofundme. It's a start. The more I listen to Rob, the more I remember Rehab, Grace, and the more I like my Rehome idea. Rob's story is nothing different than most addicts, milder than what I heard in the smoke pit at Rehab. Most of the interesting personal conversations happened over a game of crib or chess, often late at night, when I and others couldn't sleep. The difference is, when you're in rehab with 15 currently sober addicts around you, they don't let you get away with shit. If you say something stupid, they'll pounce on you worse than I have with Rob online. Not sure if you hear that pounding in the back, Grace, but that's the kitchen outside my room. However, not the first few days. In my case, and I'm not sure this is the same for all places, Grace, I was basically left alone the first day, not required to participate. I mostly stayed in my room that day and slept. Luckily, I had no roommate at first. After that, you are expected to participate, which I did. Once I started to be friendly with the other inmates, is where I noticed they would call out any shit I said, and I could do the same with them without fear of physical retaliation. Although once another guy did challenge me to a fight because I made too much noise walking. Long story. However, in my 90 days, no fight occurred and there was no security on site, just staff, normal people, most of who have gone through the program. In my experience, everyone dealt with their shit and got along. Addiction is the common denominator in rehab, Grace. What would it be for Rehome? Loneliness? Rob is lonely, Grace. It's painful for me to watch at times. I understand it's his choice to live as he does, but if you watch his videos, you'll see his kind heart. It's a broken heart, but kind. Loneliness and broken hearts are all over rehab, as well as regret, shame, and embarrassment when they arrive, at least. I dislike AA, Grace. I think there's a better solution out there. However, I'll eat my words about AA a bit and admit there were individuals who arrived with Rob's basic attitude that it's everyone else's fault and left with an understanding of their own role in their life. It can work for some. I'll update you on Rob's Gofundme. If he creates one, I'll post the link here. Maybe you're a rich, Grace, and you can drop him the 5K. This is the amount he feels he needs to get out of his situation. On another note, I'm at a different library today. Here's a photo of the sign on the way. It says, "Be kind to others and you will be blessed." Will or may, who guarantees the process? I'm not sure about blessed. Nobody can provide blessings, but I think if a person is kind and then for whatever reason good fortune follows them, it's a good thing. Do you agree, Grace? Are you religious? I don't care. However, after we get married, the only way I'll enter a church is in a coffin. Although I'd be cautious and may burst into flames. I might consider a church wedding with you, Grace, if I can wear headphones until I say I do and kiss you. Is that okay, Grace? I decided my comedy gimmick on my walk today. My age. I wish I could get a photo of my face. I wish I could post a photo of my face, Grace, but as you know, I can't. Not to brag, but I do look younger than 60. Last person I asked said 45 to 50. I'll take it. Not so much as a compliment, but as a confirmation on the right track for the comedy idea. My other option is my sometimes autistic behavior. However, since I don't interact with anyone except you, Grace, any symptoms I may or may not have are not noticed by anyone. Without interaction, without another human, it's impossible to be autistic or get comedy material about being autistic. I'm going to get in shit for saying that, Grace. But isn't it true? All symptoms are based on interactions with others. Eye contact, not a problem if you're alone. I think every other symptom is the same, Grace. Am I wrong? Maybe alone I'm normal, or maybe alone writing these letters to you I'm autistic as fuck. I don't know. I don't feel autistic these days. I stared directly into the eyes of the lady I asked about my age. I didn't even blink. I'm sure I look like a psycho. Is that better than no eye contact? Who decides the appropriate amount? I think older is a better way to go. I'll continue to get older and all the jokes will hopefully never fade. How old are you, Grace? If you happen to be around 30, it would help my comedy and my ego. Half my age is funny, Grace, especially if I start with my wife is half my age and then let them guess how old I am. The truth, 60-30, sounds the most acceptable. It's a spread, but 30 is considered a mature adult and 60 is the new 50, so it's really 50-30. Not so odd. 50-25 sounds like a guy dating a stripper. 40-20 sounds like a pervert. Did you see that joke coming, Grace? Too obvious? I offered to tell Rob my story first. I feel that is fair as a journalist. Although I failed out of journalism in college, I still remember my training. They trained us reporters to convince people like Rob that by sharing his story with the media, it will benefit others. Which I agree is true, but the reporter who convinces his subject of this logic isn't making a personal connection with the individual. They are not getting the real story. The full story comes once a connection is made between the two parties. Then once the trained professional does convince them to speak, they write the story without passion. They strictly follow the AP guidebook or lose their job. Is that a writer, Grace, or AI? In theory, any reporter with the same details writing according to AP rules would produce the same/similar news story, just like AI. Ask AI to rewrite and you get a slightly different version, but still I. Same for a gaggle of reporters. Same shit, different pile. Rob is scared of AI, Grace. I'm not sure why. How is it going to affect him living alone in the woods the rest of his life? I don't need you to be younger, Grace. It's fine if I'm my age. It's fine if you are my age and have read all this crap and accept me as I am. There's a limit to how many jokes I can make about a hot young wife anyway. I try, but although if you are old, Grace, I'll warn you now, I'll probably call you my old lady in my jokes. It's funny to say, if I can say it. Probably offensive to some of the audience, but I don't care. I come from the Kill Tony School of Comedy where we don't give a shit what the audience thinks. We only care the majority of them are laughing and that we get paid at the end of the night. When I write at home, Grace, I'll read out the paragraph sometimes and edit immediately. When I write at the library, I obviously don't. I think it's easier for me to get into a flow. I took a short break to urinate, Grace. FYI, there was a homeless guy cleaning up in the sink. I didn't bother him and he didn't bother me. No big deal. I looked up the signs of autism. I'll go through them with you like I did the 12 steps if you don't mind. They're probably not real, so how could you mind? The following's from the NHS in the UK. Signs of autism in adults. Main signs of autism. Common signs of autism in adults include finding it hard to understand what others are thinking or feeling. Others? I'm alone. Why would I care what strangers are thinking or feeling? Getting anxious about social situations. Social situations? What are those? Finding it hard to make friends or preferring to be on your own. It's easy for me to make friends. No need for them at the moment. I'm busy getting my writing/comedy career going and finding you, Grace. Seeming blunt, rude, or not interested in what others without meaning to. Fine, got me in this one, if you count online comments. Except I am interested in others. I'm not interested in their bullshit, but the rest, yes. Finding it hard to say how you feel. Read my fucking Substack, no issues there. Taking things very literally, for example. You may not understand sarcasm or phrases like break a leg. I'm not a fucking idiot, nor was I ever. This is more of a childhood spectrum symptom. It should be removed from the adult list. If they discern this as an adult, I suspect it's autism plus, and then insert medical or mental condition here. Having the same routine every day and getting very anxious if it changes. Nope. I don't decide where I'm going or what I'm doing until I wake up in the morning. If I wake up in the morning. I accept and wish every day is different. I dislike the 9-to-5 lifestyle. Not for me. Are you a 9-to-5er, Grace? I doubt it. Other signs of autism. You may also have other signs like not understanding social rules such as talking over people. People or loudmouths. Avoiding eye contact. Personal choice. This should never be considered a sign or symptom of anything, any mental condition whatsoever. It's a personal choice. If the person wanting the eye contact can't handle not getting it, that is their problem, not the autistic person's. In a sense, it's rude to demand eye contact. Who the fuck are you to tell me where I put my eyes? Fuck you. Getting too close to other people are getting very upset if someone touches or gets too close to you. I can't wait to get close to you, Grace. I may never let your hand go. Maybe I'll handcuff you to me the day we meet. Too kinky? Noticing small details, patterns, smells, or sounds that others do not. Oh, so paying attention is a sign of a mental condition / label? Oh, so paying attention is a sign of a mental condition / label? Maybe they notice because they are not caught up in the same boring shit you are. I'll agree that I notice everything, but I only notice when I'm happy and calm enough to take a look. The entire library could be burning right now and I wouldn't notice, Grace. Which parts of my stomach make me more or less autistic? Having a very keen interest in certain subjects or activities. Focused and determined, this is a sign of autism. It should be celebrated. I'm getting pissed off for the autistic people now, Grace. They, maybe me or we, are misunderstood as Rob and the homeless are. Liking to plan things carefully before doing them. Sounds like a reliable person, not a mental case. Why is this a problem? Why is it a symptom? Why is it a sign? Autism in women and men. Autism can sometimes be different in women and men. Autistic women may have learned to hide the signs of autism to fit in by copying people who don't have autism. Let's try that again, Grace. Autistic women may have learned to hide signs of autism to fit in by copying people who don't have autism. That's a shitty fucking sentence. It's called masking NHS. Update your site. It occurs in both men and women. I'll admit I did this for years, or most of my life, but I was partially aware of it. I did it on purpose. I called it acting. I even took acting class, Grace, to pretend to be interested in boring people, specifically at business meetings. Be quieter and hide their feelings. Sure, maybe, who knows, I don't know any female autistics. Appear to cope better with social situations. Okay, I don't go to social situations, so I wouldn't know. Show fewer signs of repetitive behaviors. Well, if they are masking more than men, that would make logical mathematical sense. It doesn't make it a fucking sign. Overall, I believe I'm correct. Alone, I'm not autistic because I have no life interactions with others. And if I did, my so-called autistic tendencies would affect them, not me. So in reality, anyone who thinks I'm autistic is actually some sort of mental case themselves. They can't handle an authentic individual. The autism label isn't for the individual, it's simply an excuse for the family when the shy kid like myself embarrasses them. This is exactly how it was in 1970 when I was labeled shy. Nothing has changed in 50 years, Grace. New label, new excuse, same bullshit. It's now 1:51 p.m., Grace. I think this is enough for today. I'm going to start a letter to Rob. I assume he will reject my offer to help, but I hope I'm wrong. Either way, I'll send him these letters and let him know that by sharing his story on YouTube, it's changed my life, giving me the incentive to continue with these letters to you. Take care, Grace. David. P.S. In the spirit of transparency and for criticizing Rob for being dramatic or acting in his videos, below is a video of my process. After I read at the library, I return home and edit once. Then I record the voiceover you've been hearing right now.